So let us start the chapter 5, language of chemistry. So we will first see that what is a chemical reaction. Okay, a process in which one or more substances called the reactants are transformed into one or more different substances are called products. Okay, so what happens in a chemical reaction? A particular substance, one or more substance, changes into new substance. So those substances which undergo changes are called as reactants, and those substances which are formed are called as products. Okay, so reactants are the substances. So for example, if you see here, hydrogen combine with oxygen to form water. So hydrogen is a reactant, oxygen is also reactant, and they undergo a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction takes place, and then water molecule is formed. Two water molecules are formed. You see, these are the water molecules. This is the hydrogen molecule. These are the oxygen molecule. When they combine, they form water molecule. Okay. So in a chemical reaction, what happens? So the breaking of existing bonds between the atoms or group of atoms of the reactants takes place. That means this hydrogen bonding. Here you see both the hydrogen atoms are attached with a bond. This is called as bond. So this bond breaks. And here also oxygen molecule bond breaks. And then hydrogen and oxygen bond form to form a new substance. Understood? Next we'll see that how we can represent a chemical equation. So chemical reaction is nothing. This can be represented by a chemical equation. For example, here you see when you pour dilute sulfuric acid in zinc, then what happened? Zinc react with sulfuric acid and forms zinc sulfate, and also hydrogen gas is produced. Now how you can know that hydrogen gas is produced? To know that, we will keep a burning splinter, we'll burn a stick and put near the test tube. It will, hydrogen gas burns with a pop sound. Yes, hydrogen gas burns with a pop sound. From that we can know that in this reaction hydrogen gas has produced. Okay, now this chemical reaction can be written in this form, that zinc plus Zn plus H2SO4 gives ZnSO4 plus H2. So this is a chemical equation. So now we will understand how to know whether it is a chemical reaction or not. So for that, we should know the characteristics of chemical reaction. Okay, so the first characteristics of chemical reaction is change of color. So change of color is the first characteristic of chemical reaction. So many reaction, what happens? The color changes. For example, here you see copper carbonate, when heated, it breaks into copper oxide and carbon dioxide. Now you see, you cannot, by seeing we cannot know. Actually, what is happening? We can know by seeing the characteristics. So here you see the green color of the copper carbonate will change to black color copper oxide. Okay. So earlier the copper carbonate will be of green color, but after heating, here you see this green color copper carbonate, when it is heated, it forms black color. So change color changes. Next, zinc carbonate. When the white color zinc carbonate is heated, it changes to zinc oxide, which is yellow color when it is hot. So white color zinc carbonate changes to yellow color zinc oxide. Then mercuric oxide, when mercuric oxide is of red color salt, but when it is heated, it forms mercury, which is silvery color. Next is lead oxide, which is of brown color. When you heat, it forms a yellow color. So all these reactions are the examples where the color changes. So you have to remember this, okay? And you have to Okay, so lead oxide also, when lead oxide is a brown color salt, but when it is heated, it forms lead monoxide, which is yellow color salt. So you have to practice the equation and remember the color changes. Okay, these questions may come in the form of observation. So how these questions will come? It may comes in the form of that write your observation. So observation means what? Observation means what we can see through our eyes. So question will be given, this one will be given in the question, that when heating of copper carbonate takes place, what will be your observation? You have to write that green color copper carbonate changes to black color copper oxide. Similarly, question might come that write your observation for heating of zinc carbonate, or when zinc carbonate changes to zinc oxide and carbon dioxide, what is your observation? You have to write that white color zinc carbonate changes to yellow color zinc oxide. Like this, you have to practice all this color change of the reaction. Next, we'll see one more activity which we can do. Of course, now we can't do it, it can be done in the lab. That when copper sulfate, which is a blue color solution, you can see that copper sulfate is blue color. When you put an iron nail inside it, after some time, the color of the solution changes to green color, because due to from copper sulfate now it has become ferrous sulfate or iron sulfate. Okay. Next characteristic of the reaction is change of state. Yes, in some reactions, state changes. Just a minute, students. Okay. So now carbon, in some reactions, what happens, students? The change of the state takes place, and also smell also changes. Okay. So here you see carbon and sulfur. When they combine, so here sulfur, both the carbon is in solid state and sulfur is also solid state. How you can it is solid? So both are taken in solid state, but when they combine, they form carbon disulfide, which is in liquid state. Understood, students? So two solids are combined and they are forming liquid. So we can say that a chemical reaction has taken place. Next is ammonia. Now ammonia is a gas and hydrogen chloride is also a gas. Now when both of them, when they combine, they form ammonium chloride, which is a solid. So two gas combines and forms a solid. So this is, so we can say that here the state has changed, hence the chemical reaction has taken place. Next, when hydrogen combine with oxygen, it forms water. Now hydrogen is in gaseous state and oxygen is also in gaseous state. So when they combine, they form water, which is in liquid state. So here also the state changes and you can say that the reaction has started. Next, decomposition of water. If we break the water, so here you see water is in liquid state, and when we pass electric current through the acidified water, then the water breaks into hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. That means reactants are in liquid state, but product was in gaseous state. In this example, reactant was in gaseous state, product was in liquid state. In this example, reactant was in gaseous state, product was in solid state, and in this case, reactant was in solid state, product was in liquid state. So state is changing. So we can say that the reaction has taken place. Next, you will see change of smell. In some chemical reaction, what happens? Smell also, change of smell can also be observed. For example, a fresh egg, when it gets spoiled and becomes a rotten egg, then you get a bad smell, yes or no? Suppose a food, a bread, if it is kept for longer days, then it gives some foul smell. So we can say that chemical reaction has taken place. Next characteristic is evolution of gas. So in chemical reaction, some of the chemical reaction, what happens? Gas evolution takes place. Okay, so for example, you can see, and this gas evolution is also called as effervescence. So what is effervescence? Formation of gas bubbles in a liquid during a chemical reaction is termed as effervescence. Okay, let us take an example that whenever in iron, if we pour dilute sulfuric acid, then what happens? Hydrogen bubbles are formed. Okay, so this is called as an effervescence. Some other examples are also there. When potassium chloride is heated, we get potassium chloride plus oxygen gas. So here oxygen gas is formed. Okay, so in this reaction, how we can know that the reaction has started? If we see oxygen gas is formed, we can say that reaction has started. Similarly, zinc, when reacted with hydrochloric acid, we get zinc chloride plus hydrogen gas. When sodium chloride is reacted with concentrated sulfuric acid, then we get sodium sulfate, sodium bisulfate, and hydrogen chloride gas. When calcium carbonate is reacted with dilute hydrochloric acid, then we get calcium chloride plus water plus carbon dioxide. So here the gas formed is carbon dioxide. So these reactions you have to remember. These questions might come in the form that write the gas produced in the reaction. So you have to prepare the gas produced in the reactions. Okay. Next, when sodium sulfite combines with dilute hydrochloric acid, it forms sodium chloride plus water plus sulfur dioxide. Okay. So now we will see what are the next characteristic is formation of precipitate. Now, what is a precipitate? So, in certain chemical reactions, an insoluble solid substances called precipitate is formed. Okay, so precipitate is nothing but an insoluble solid particles. Whenever a solid particle does not get dissolved, it is called as a precipitate. Okay, and in some reactions, precipitates are formed, and by seeing the precipitates, we can know whether the reaction is started or not. For example, silver nitrate when react with hydrochloric acid, it forms nitric acid and silver chloride. Here you see a downward arrow mark is there. This means it is a precipitate. And what is the color of the precipitate? It's milky white precipitate. So students, you have to remember the exact color name. You cannot write only white. You can lose your marks. So if this reaction is given, so this question might comes what? You have to write the color of the precipitate. Color of the precipitate. Understood? So you have to remember the reaction. This in this reaction, the milky white silver chloride is a milky white precipitate. Similarly, when iron sulfate combined with sodium hydroxide, it forms sodium sulfate plus iron hydroxide. Here, the iron hydroxide is having what color? Dirty green precipitate. If you write only green, it will be wrong. You have to write exactly dirty green. Okay. Next, when iron chloride reacts with ammonium hydroxide, it forms ammonium chloride and iron hydroxide. So again, iron 3 hydroxide. You see here, iron 2 hydroxide is dirty green precipitate, but iron 3 hydroxide is reddish brown precipitate. You have to remember that. Iron 3 means reddish brown, iron 2 means dirty green, silver means milky white. Okay. Next, copper 2 sulfate when reacts with sodium hydroxide, then sodium sulfate and copper hydroxide is formed. Here copper hydroxide is having pale blue color. Remember that copper 2 hydroxide is having pale blue precipitate. Then when zinc sulfate react with sodium hydroxide, it forms sodium sulfate and zinc hydroxide. So you remember that zinc hydroxide is gelatinous white precipitate. Okay, zinc hydroxide is gelatinous white precipitate. Yes, PPT means precipitate. Okay. So now, so here it is written zinc hydroxide. Remember that gelatinous white. You cannot write only white. You have to mention it exactly. Next, lead nitrate when combined with ammonium hydroxide, it forms ammonium nitrate plus lead hydroxide. And lead hydroxide is also having chalky white precipitate. So all these colors, you have to remember it as it is. Name of the precipitate and color of the precipitate. Is it clear? And you have to remember that in which reaction these are produced. So you have to practice, practice, and practice. I'm telling again and again. Okay, here some colors are given. You see, iron hydroxide is having dirty green precipitate. Okay, iron 3, iron 2 hydroxide is dirty green. Iron 2 hydroxide is reddish brown precipitate. And Copper hydroxide is having pale blue precipitate. So these are the color of the precipitates. Next characteristics of chemical reaction is either heat will be evolved or heat will be released. That means in a chemical reaction, either the heat will be released or the heat will be absorbed. So how we'll know the heat is released? Means heat is produced. So suppose imagine that in this test tube a chemical reaction is taken place, and if outside if it is hot, then we can say that the heat is released. Okay, but if outside it is cool, the test tube has become cool after the reaction, then we can say that the heat energy is absorbed. Remember, if the test tube is hot, then heat energy is released. If the test tube is cool, then heat energy is absorbed. Okay, so remember, what is an exothermic reaction? Exothermic reaction is a chemical reaction in which heat energy is evolved, and endothermic reaction is a reaction in which a heat energy is absorbed. So if the test tube becomes cool, then we can say it is an endothermic reaction. If the test tube becomes hot, we can say that it is a exothermic reaction. Okay, so now let us see some example of exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. Here you see, when calcium oxide is combined reacted with water, it forms calcium hydroxide and huge amount of heat energy is produced. So this sign is called as delta sign. Okay, and delta means heat energy has been produced. So hence it is an exothermic reaction. So remember, if there is a plus delta sign is there, it is called exothermic reaction. Next, so when sulfur dioxide combine with oxygen in the presence of vanadium pentoxide, which is a catalyst, act as a catalyst. What is catalyst? You will understand afterwards. Temperature required is 4450 degrees Celsius. Okay, then sulfur trioxide is formed, and it is also a exothermic reaction. Why? Because huge amount of heat energy is produced in this reaction. Next, nitrogen, when combined with hydrogen, it forms ammonia. Okay, and here the condition required is iron along with 450 degrees Celsius and 200 atmosphere is required, and it is also a exothermic reaction. Why? Because plus delta sign is there. So remember, whenever there is a plus delta sign, it is a exothermic reaction, means heat energy is released. Then hydrogen, when combined with oxygen, it forms water, and here also heat energy is produced. Okay, so Sneha Tulsian is asking, what is precipitate? So precipitate means insoluble solid, and whenever a insoluble solid is formed, is called as precipitate. Now let us take some example of our daily life exothermic reaction. First is rusting of iron. Do you know that when the iron get rust, it is a exothermic reaction? That means it produces heat, but since the process is very slow, we cannot understand, we cannot notice the heat. Next, setting of cement. You know whether whenever the house is constructed and cement is used to build the wall or make the concrete, then also it produces heat energy, but it's also very slow, so we cannot notice it. Then human body. So in our body also, whenever we eat food, that is also exothermic reaction. The digestion of food is an exothermic reaction. Why? Because energy is released. Burning of coal is also a exothermic reaction. Why? Because here also heat is released. Bursting of firecracker, when you burn the firecrackers, burst the firecrackers, there also heat energy is released. So all these are the examples of exothermic reaction. Next, we'll see that how a reaction can start. So for starting a reaction, some conditions are required. So what are the conditions? The first condition is by close physical contact. So some reactions will start when the reactants are kept together. Okay. So some reactions, for example, iodine and phosphorus. So if iodine and phosphorus are kept separate, they will not react. But if they are brought together, if they are made very close contact, they are rubbed with each other, then they will react explosively. They explode, means it will burn like a bomb. It will blast. Next, potassium in cold water. You see, potassium is very reactive metal. So when it is kept in cold water, it burns like anything, react explosively. Next, next condition is by contact in solution. Now, some substances, if they are mixed in solid form, in dry form, they will not react. But if they are mixed in solution form, that means first substance is dissolved in water, solution is made. Second substance is dissolved in water, also solution is made. Now, if both these solutions are combined, then they will react. But if dry NaOH is reacted, it will not react. So NaCl, then they will react. So AQ means aqueous solution. So aqueous solution of NaOH and aqueous solution of HCl combine with each other, react with each other and form sodium chloride and water. Okay, and this reaction, this type of reaction is called as what? This type of reaction is called as neutralization reaction. Okay. Next, precipitation reaction. So in precipitation reactions also takes place in what? In aqueous solution form. Means in dry form they will not react, but in aqueous solution form they will react. Here you see white color precipitate is formed. Next is condition is supplying heat energy. Yes, some reactions will not start until heat energy is given or supplied to them. Okay, why? Because when heat energy is given, the particles collide swiftly. Means they move here and there very fast. Motion of the particles increases, and due to which reaction start. For example, when zinc carbonate is heated, it breaks into zinc oxide and carbon dioxide. But these reactions, this reaction will not start until we heat it. Okay, so here the condition is heat energy. Next, when nitrogen and oxygen are combined, they react only in the presence of 3000 degrees Celsius. You see such a high temperature, 3000 degrees Celsius. Okay, imagine at 100 degrees Celsius water boil, and here it is 3000 degrees Celsius. So at such a high temperature only nitrogen and oxygen combine to form nitric oxide. Next you see zinc carbonate, when it is heated, before heating it was white in color, but when it is heated it forms zinc oxide which is yellow in color. So this reaction also takes place after heating only. Next condition which is required is light energy. Now some reactions start when light energy is given to them. Okay, why? Because some molecules absorb the light energy and then they collide swiftly and they react. For example, photosynthesis, we know that photosynthesis cannot occur in absence of sunlight. So if there is a sunlight, then only the photosynthesis takes place. Yes, so photosynthesis is a what kind of, so this reaction needs light. Okay, so what happens in photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide combines with water in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. If there is no sunlight or no chlorophyll, then this reaction will not proceed. And the products are formed are glucose and oxygen. Glucose means our food. Food which we eat is nothing but glucose. Then reaction of hydrogen with chlorine. So when hydrogen and chlorine combine in the presence of sunlight, then only this reaction takes place and they form hydrogen chloride gas. Next, silver salts like silver bromide, and they decompose in the presence of sunlight. Okay, that is why they are kept in dark colored bottles. Yes, why silver salts are kept in dark colored bottles? Because they decompose in the presence of sunlight. Next condition is electricity. So some reactions start when electricity is given to them. Okay, why? Because electricity can causes formation of ions, and then the reaction starts. For example, when we pass electric current through water, acidified water, then it forms hydrogen and oxygen. Similarly, when electricity is passed through molten sodium chloride, remember here it is molten means we melt the sodium chloride. Then if we pass electric current, it breaks into sodium and chlorine gas. Okay. Next is pressure. Some reactions start when pressure is given. Okay. For example, nitrogen and hydrogen combine to form ammonia in presence of 200 atmospheric pressure. It's a very high pressure. Do you know what is our normal pressure at a room pressure? In the room, the pressure is 1 atmosphere. But for this reaction, we need to give 200 times more pressure, which is very high. And also we need to give 450 degrees Celsius, then only this reaction takes place. Next is, okay, next condition for the chemical reaction is catalyst. Now, what is a catalyst? So, catalyst means, let us see what is a catalyst. It is a substance which alters the rate of reaction without taking part in the reaction. So, catalysts are the substances which does not take part in the reaction. That means it will neither react with the reactant, neither it will react with the product. It will not do anything. But if catalyst is given, then the rate of the reaction increases or decreases. That means either it will make the reaction faster or it will make the reaction slower. Okay, suppose the reaction is very fast, and if we keep the catalyst, it will become little bit slow. Suppose the reaction is very slow. If we give the catalyst, it becomes a little bit faster. So catalyst changes the rate of the reaction. Okay, either it will make the reaction slower or it will make the reaction faster. So let us see an example. Here you see ammonia, when combines with oxygen, it forms nitric oxide and water. And now this reaction, for this reaction, we need a catalyst, that is platinum. So here platinum act as a catalyst. How we know that it is a catalyst? So remember, catalyst is always written above the arrow mark. Catalyst is always written either above the arrow mark or below the arrow mark. Then neither it will be written in reactant side nor it will be written in product side. And also 800 degrees Celsius is required. Okay. Next, types of catalyst. So let us see how many types of catalyst is there. The first type is positive catalyst. So what is positive catalyst? So it is a catalyst which increases the rate of a chemical reaction. That means a catalyst which increases the speed of the chemical reaction, which makes a chemical reaction faster. Then it will be called as a positive catalyst. For example, manganese dioxide. In the case of potassium chlorate, when it is heated, it forms potassium chloride and oxygen. But it's a very slow reaction. But if we give manganese dioxide as a catalyst, then this reaction becomes little bit faster. Next is negative catalyst. Of course, we can understand what is negative catalyst. It is a catalyst which decreases the rate of reaction, rate of a chemical reaction is known as negative catalyst. Okay, for example, phosphoric acid is act as a catalyst in the breakdown of H2O2. H2O2 is nothing but hydrogen peroxide. What is it? Hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. So when hydrogen peroxide is heated, it forms water and oxygen. But it is a very fast reaction. So to slow the reaction, we add a catalyst known as phosphoric acid. So phosphoric acid slows down the reaction. Hence it is called as negative catalyst. Now what is a promoter? Let us understand what's a promoter. So promoters are substances which improve the efficiency of the catalyst. Okay. Now promoter is a substance which help the catalyst to do the work in more better way. Suppose a catalyst is there, it is working, but if you give the promoter, it will work better. For example, in case of nitrogen and hydrogen, when they combine, it forms ammonia. Now, for this reaction, we use a catalyst called as iron. But if we use iron, it will act as a catalyst. It will make the reaction a little bit faster. But if we want to make it more faster, we will add a promoter, is molybdenum. So here molybdenum is a promoter, which will act, which will help the catalyst, that is iron, to do it work more better way. Understood? So here is given a catalyst. What it does, it helps the reactants to combine with each other properly. And but it does not react. It will remain always separate from the reactants. So now we will see what is a chemical equation. So what is a chemical equation? So it is a representation of the results of a chemical change is a chemical equation. So chemical equation is a short form of a chemical change. So to remember that in a chemical equation, there are two sides. One will be reactant side, one will be product side. Okay. Now, what are the reactants? The substance which takes part in a reaction are called as reactants. And what is a product? Substance which are formed as a result of the product are called as products. The new substances are products which are taking part in the reaction are called as reactants. For example, zinc sulfate when react with sodium hydroxide, it forms sodium sulfate and zinc hydroxide. So here zinc sulfate and sodium hydroxide is what? It is reactants. And sodium sulfate and zinc hydroxide are what? They are products. Yes or no? Now we have to remember that if single arrow is there, then it is a irreversible reaction. Means it cannot be reversed back. But if double side arrow is there, that means it is a reversible reaction. That means once again we can get back the original substance. Okay. Now we'll see the valency chart. Okay, this valency chart is very important, students. You have to practice it daily. Okay, remember that if you don't know the valency chart, you cannot do anything. You cannot write anything. You cannot get a single mark also in chemistry. So it's a very important. Now, what you have to do? You have to practice it every day. Remember, it is not to be learned. It is to be practiced again and again and again. So there is one secret to get good score in chemistry, that is practice, practice, and practice. Okay. So these are the valency of different radicals like potassium, K plus radical, sodium, Na plus, copper, Cu plus, mercury, Hg plus, silver, Ag plus, ammonium, NH4, 1 plus, hydrogen, H1 plus. You have to practice the charges also. Okay. Calcium, Ca2 plus, magnesium, Mg2 plus, zinc, Zn2 plus. All these you have to practice. Now remember, whenever there will be a bi, remember there will be a H will be there. See, hydrogen bicarbonate. So HCO3. Okay. So if there is a hydrogen carbonate, can also be called as bicarbonate. Hydrogen sulfide can also be called as bisulfide. Hydrogen sulfate can also be called as bisulfate. So in place of hydrogen, we can add a bi. Now whenever there will be a bi, remember there will be a hydrogen. So H will be there. Understood? See, when there is only carbonate, we are writing CO3 2 minus. But when there is bicarbonate, we are writing HCO3 1 minus. So you have to practice the names as it is, no change. Understand? Very important. Okay, students. In the next class, we will understand how to write the formulas. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now. If you have any doubt, you can ask.
Sir, I have doubt
Sir,
in
can
lesson
we
4
smell
question
the
answer.
chemical reaction?
Sorry. Can you tell once
Sir,
again?
can we smell the chemical reaction?
No, we should not. Generally, we should not smell the chemical reaction because sometimes some many harmful gases are produced. So directly we should not inhale those gases. They
Sir,
can.
I do not understood the hydrogen bi. What is the meaning of bicarbonate?
Bi means in place of hydrogen we can use the word bi. Okay. Either we can write hydrogen carbonate, or in place of that we can write bicarbonate. So both are same thing. Hydrogen carbonate or bicarbonate are same thing. Okay.
Sir,
Sir, I have doubt in lesson 4 question answer.
Okay, that we will do in the
sir,
doubt clearing
except
session. We will have a doubt clearing
except
session.
writing bi, we can only write hydrogen carbonate in the exam.
Yes, we can write that. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And doubt clearing session will clear the doubt. Let me complete the chapter and then we'll have a doubt clearing class. In the doubt clearing class, we'll clarify the exercise doubts.
9.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I have doubt in question answer.
Okay, in the doubt clearing class, we will discuss the doubts of the question answers. Okay.
Sir, we will learn everything from lesson 3.
Sorry.
We will learn everything from lesson 3, sir.
That we'll discuss afterwards. I will explain that also.
Okay, thank you.
That's all for students.
Thank you,
Have a
sir.
good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have doubt.
Yes, tell me. What is your doubt?
Sir, lesson 3 questions I have not done.
Okay, lesson question answers, exercise question answers will be discussed in doubt clearing class. Well, let me complete the chapters, then we will be having a doubt clearing class. There we will discuss the question answers. Is it okay now?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, bye bye
Thank you,
students.
sir.